with Smithball, Baez, and Prather. Help is just a local phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
You're out here grinding, handling life, and keeping your sports take sharp. And guess what? ESPN 1063 sees you. Keep it up.
The playoffs are heating up, but your home shouldn't. Stay cool with EDS Air Conditioning. Right now, qualified customers can take advantage of 0% interest for 60 months on a brand new AC. Hot streaks belong in sports, not in your home. With over 800 Google reviews and a 4.8 star rating, EDS is the name you can trust since 2006. Visit EDSIsYes.com today. Game day comfort starts now. Don't sweat the small stuff.
Breaking news on ESPN 1063 is brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
This just in. We begin this hour with breaking news.
When news breaks, ESPN 1063 has it covered.
We've had developments. ESPN 1063 can now report.
When your vehicle breaks, St. Lucie Battery and Tire fixes it. Stay tuned to ESPN 1063 for more breaking news. Brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
Every Thursday is a Thirsty Thursday at Roger Dean Chevrolet Stadium. Membership is just $100, and all fans 21 and up get a ticket to every Thursday game and a drink koozie, which unlocks weekly drink specials. Learn more at RogerDeanChevroletStadium.com.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
All into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy!
Light him up, Colin!
An opening round edition of the Masters over in Augusta, Georgia. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063. A pouring day at the moment right here in South Florida. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Christian Catt with you for the next 2 hours on ESPN 1063 on your radio dial and streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm. Should be a fun program today. We'll hear from Uncle Steve later in the second hour. We're going to hear from Christian Catt's experience at the practice round up in Augusta, freshly back with a new Masters hat. Did not get a shirt. I was a little confused by that. But a lot of fun to be had. Scotty Scheffler finishes 4 under in that opening round. Had a chance to birdie 18. Just went wide. Had a good second shot out of the bunker. And you got Justin Rose leading the pack through 12 at 6 under. A hot start over there. Guys like Patrick Reed sitting 1 under. You got John Rahm, who's had a rough day. Rory through 9, 3 under. So Rory and Scheffler right in the mix. Probably the two biggest stories in the golf world right now as the Masters opening round is officially underway up in Augusta. And it's one of those days when you're in the office, you're in a classroom, wherever you are, where you sort of have one eye on the screen and the other eye on whatever productive piece of work you have to do. That's the fun part of this. A little a la NCAA tournament, a little less excitement because it's a little slower. But it's one of those things where it's all day. Who's paying attention to what they're doing during the day at work? Christian was at the Masters in Augusta for one day. You went to one round, Christian. I got that right? Practice round?
Yes, I was there on Tuesday.
You were there on Tuesday. And give me a read. Is it, like everybody says, buttoned up? Is it as classy as the ambiance? Does it sell it all? Give me a sense.
It just is both as exclusive as you get, but as unique as you get, too. Everybody there is happy. Everyone's so happy to be there, whether
they feel
it's your
lucky
first
to be
time
there
or one of the next times you get to go. Everyone feels lucky to be there. You don't miss your phone. That experience amplifies it tenfold. It's just, it is as all it's cracked up to be, yeah.
Wow, so you were very impressed. I feel like the practice round is a good time. Mike and I were talking about this yesterday. You'd almost rather not miss the Saturday and Sunday rounds because it's great on TV because you see every shot and you kind of jump around the holes. You sort of sacrifice that at the Masters and any golf event for that matter because you can't see everything at once.
You're exactly right. Because you have no phone, you don't know who's making a charge.
You got to go
all.
find the hand, like an old baseball game. Go find the hand standings there, right? Do they have that?
Exactly. They do have a lot of those scoreboards that are not just the massive ones, but it just has the current group that's walking on that hole, making their approach on 15. It says just through 14, and it has their scores next to it. But you, especially with how good the Masters app is, yeah, you can't really keep updated.
You sacrifice
and when you go on a practice round, you're almost going at your own pace. It's like, okay, I know I want to do X, Y, Z on this Masters bucket list. I know I got to eat everything I can, got to get a picture at the Founder Circle, and you're not missing watching Scotty Scheffler go on Amen Corner. No, you can kind of go in your own leisure. It was a good time.
What impressed you the most, Christian?
I would have to say the course itself. You just can't translate.
It's as beautiful as...
I've heard the elevation sneaks up on you.
Yeah, I have shin splints, dude. I'm in pain. I had to have walked about 10 to 15 miles.
The TV doesn't do it justice with the amount of hills and the elevation.
Oh, so you didn't have a golf cart? Obviously,
no,
I'm kidding.
No golf cart, no mode of transportation whatsoever. Had to walk in through the entrance, didn't park there, took a shuttle over there from a different place I was
how
at.
How hard did you sleep? What was it, Tuesday night?
Yeah.
Oh, my God, dude.
Yeah.
So did you fly back Tuesday night or Wednesday morning?
Wednesday night. I spent some time with my mom in Charleston.
That's right.
Nice.
All right, so you flew back Wednesday night, and you went Tuesday morning. What time did you get there?
Got there at around 8
And what time did you walk out?
Walked out at around 5:30.
Wow.
We had to drive from there to Charleston on the same day, so we were pretty pooped.
You put in a shift.
Yeah.
And cheap food, cheap drinks, all that stuff is up to speed?
Yeah, I mean, it all checks out.
All right.
My biggest regret, there was a problem with the merch tent.
So this is where it gets interesting. So you went, I saw you have a nice Masters hat on. You got to get something when you're at the Masters. That's how they get you. Because when you're at the Masters...
Then again, you can get them at resells for more than you paid for.
I guess. I mean, you're not going to the... Hey, fine. If the food is cheap, the drinks are cheap, the ambiance, the whole thing. And then you show up, from what I've heard at least, you show up to getting all the merch, and this is where it gets tricky. So what was your experience doing this? Give me a sense.
So we couldn't make it to the main merchandise tent.
Why is that?
Line was too long, couldn't make it in. So we went to the miniature one that's on the course, where it just had hats, flags, a couple of accessories available, and I still dropped a pretty penny, especially as far as I'm concerned, on that type of merchandise.
So how long...
I would have gotten a shirt.
Was the main tent like an amusement park, like an hour wait, 2 hour wait?
When we walked in, it was 90 minutes.
Wow.
Because people go there to make sure they get first dibs at anything that could run out, like the gnome. The gnome is a collector's item that every year they have a different garden gnome, Masters themed, and people buy them and they resell them. They're purchased for $50 on site, and then you resell them for about $350.
Jeez.
Jon Rahm is not having a good round as he just teed off on 9, 2 over, and just launched one. He's trying to break apart his golf club. So Jon Rahm,
Christian, I got and to the Jon Rahm point, Christian, he's a live guy, correct?
Yes.
What happened there? What he was the
live guys too well in the Masters.
I'll tell you what, but no, not even in general. I feel like the last year and a half has just not been his time.
Well, that's the problem with the public perception, and Jon Rahm spoke about this, about how he's getting a bad rap because he's only being judged on 4 events a year,
right,
and 2 of which he was injured for last year since joining LIV. But he has been the best or second best
in the
LIV golf player.
tournaments.
Yes.
In the LIV golf tournaments.
But a very strong field, 3 rounds.
But the Masters has not been friendly to the LIV guys, at least so far today, and what you're seeing.
And also, Christian, to your point, like, I try to have Rory's back when I can because obviously he hasn't won a major since 2014, but I kind of hammer home to everybody because I am a Rory guy. I hammer home to everybody like, hey, he's still winning a lot of tournaments, but that's what we judge by. We judge by majors.
Yeah, we as unfairly in maybe the casual fan that tunes in for the biggest events in the majors,
unfairly to a point. So, like, that's sadly what you're measured on. Like, I understand Jon Rahm's upset.
That's another reason why LIV golf players are kind of upset, because if you're just using those data points, that's the OWGR, the World Golf Rankings. They're not getting any credit for anything they do in LIV.
Right.
So
he's like 70 or 80 or something.
Exactly. There's no credit given to those players for the events they play there. They're only judged by the 4 LIV golf, the majors, and they're not obviously up there, and they need to be captain's picks for the Ryder Cup because of that.
Yeah, Jon Rahm not having a good start in the opening round Freddie Couples, who won the Masters back in 1992.
It's your guy.
1 under. Had an eagle today. Freddie Couples, that's what you love to see. That's why the Masters, that's the story we got to follow. If Freddie Couples makes the cut there. Because Freddie Couples, he got an eagle on 14. That is great. That's good for the program.
And
We're happy for Freddie Couples.
I'm happy for Bubba Watson, too. Colin loves a specific breakfast place that's not a partner, so I'm not going to mention them. But just know at that specific breakfast place, he took them there after he won the Masters. And it was the whole thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, I'm following.
Took who?
I'm following.
Bubba Watson.
Took who?
Took his family. You're right.
Okay.
More context for us. Took his family and his loved ones. And he joked around about it. Like, what you won the Masters. What are you going to do? We're going to so-and-so breakfast joint.
Yeah, Pancake House.
Yeah, perfect. Attaboy, Chris.
65-year-old Freddie Couples 1 under through his first round. I love that. But we'll get into some scoreboard updates a little later on in the program. First things first, since you got Rory and SCHEFFLER right here, SCHEFFLER would be the first person since Jack Nicklaus to win 3 in 4 years if he's able to put up together a great weekend. He had a safe first round. He finishes 4 under, had a chance to go 5 under on 18. Apparently the weather's going to get a whole lot worse for tomorrow's round, so this is all going to be in limbo. We'll see how everybody reacts. But I think the biggest part of the Masters, especially that opening round, is getting past the pressure of it.
Right.
That's the key. It's almost like that's the first block. You don't know. It's about escaping that round, feeling good comparatively to trying to chase from behind. I feel like that's the nature of that first round. I
feel like a lot of people that win this tournament have great first rounds. You don't necessarily have to have the best, but you don't want to play yourself out of contention. That's why I love Rory. He's only through 9, Kyle, but he's sitting there at 3 under.
You got to be in the mix. Just be in the mix.
And Justin, fair play to Justin Rose, who's 6 under. It's tough to do on day one, Christian.
Well, the only guys that have won the Masters that were not in the top 10 after day one was Tiger twice.
Right.
In 19 and I believe in 05. So, yeah, you got to be top 10 pretty much because Tiger is the exception.
Right. Yes, correct. And I loved and sign me up for the leaderboard of Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, Hideki Matsuyama, Bryson DeChambeau. I mean, Cam Smith. These are all big names, and I feel like that would be great for not only golf but obviously the tournament if all these guys are in it come the final day on Sunday.
Well, to think about the two, and we talked about how the biggest story, at least nationwide, is if Rory, who's been playing great this season, can really put together getting over that hump and getting that green jacket at the Masters. On the other side of things, Scotty Scheffler, who has dominated the sport for the better part of 3-4 years, if he gets that 3rd and 4th year, he's already an immortal in a way because he's won it twice.
Got 2.
But if you get that 3 and 4 years, that immortality to him as a golfer increases. Now, I want to pose the question. From your perspectives, both of you, is it more important? Is it more valuable to the game of golf if Scheffler does it 3 and 4? Is it more impressive? Scheffler 3 and 4, or Rory getting his first major and his first Masters since 2014, 11, 12 years?
I think it's Rory because it's the last one he needs. He's won every major. This would be the Grand Slam of majors for Rory.
That's
US
why Open twice.
Yeah. I mean, so and I know it's been since 2014, and everyone loves bringing that up. Trust me, I got a ton of buddies who can't stand Rory McIlroy, but as someone who thought Rory was going to be the next big thing in golf after Tiger, and Tiger was my guy growing up, Christian, so I kind of, Rory was Nike Golf back then, and I kind of strapped my wagon onto the Rory wagon, which is why I remind people the guy is a winner. It just hasn't been at the major level, but it's what we judge. I think it's Rory because it would be the Grand Slam, Christian.
No, I wouldn't think that it would be more impressive that Rory won it. I think
every
cool.
major. If he wins this, he won every major.
Right. It'd be coolest. That would be the best story, and it'd be more exciting and more fun. But we've seen, like Colin alluded to, Scotty win it twice in 3 years. I think it'd be more impressive for Scotty Scheffler to win the historic tournament 3 times in 4 years.
But
that would be more impressive to me.
And I understand, majors are majors, right? If Scotty wins, Colin, it's his 3rd. Rory has 4. But, I don't know. I think it's impressive to win. I think the more impressive thing is to win every single major. That's really cool. I mean, Christian, I don't know off the top of my head who's in that company to have every single major under their belt. I think it's Tiger and Jack and probably nobody else after that.
There's a couple others.
Okay, well, maybe Artie Palmer, a couple of guys from way back when, but it'd be exclusive company, and that's why I would go with Rory McIlroy.
I think the 3 and 4 years, only one other guy has done it, and Tiger hasn't even done it. Arnold Palmer won 3 and 6 years Nicholas won 3 and 4, excuse me. Scheffler, at this point where golf is today, 3 and 4 would be quite an accomplishment. That is an immortal move. That's an immortal move in the toughest tournament with the most pressure in the biggest environment in the entire sport of golf. Rory would be a better story. I think it's more impressive if Scheffler can get this done. That's where I land. I would say being able to do that 3 and 4, being as good as he has been, he's always in the mix in every single tournament he plays. He's had the story with him with getting arrested and the whole thing. He's a lovable. He's trying to be a face of golf, and a 3 and 4 year type of thing. And maybe if he hasn't done it already, maybe it'll never happen. Being that type of immortal, like the Tigers of the world, even Rory's up there. But that 3 and 4, I think, would be wildly impressive.
Let me ask you guys this. Who's the face of golf?
I mean, people don't want to admit it. It's still Tiger, but the guys who actually play,
Yeah.
it's Rory,
Okay.
Scheffler. Those are probably your guys.
And that's why I bring it up.
Honestly, it's difficult.
I think
You're
it's
right.
Rory. Christian, quickly, I think it's Rory. But if Scotty wins this, it's hard not to say Scheffler.
There is not a singular. I honestly don't think outside
Is
of
that
Tiger, and that's a
good?
great,
More-
it's a fantastic
It's a good
thing
thing.
because
Morikawa's had problems with the media. That doesn't help. There hasn't been a guy to be able to take up the ultimate title, the statue.
yeah, you almost Tiger's the exception. We get it, but you don't want one single person to be the needle because if that needle goes down, yeah, you're on the wrong end of that. No one's going to watch this tournament because no Tiger. You don't want that. You want your
You want multiple guys
interest.
chasing immortality at the same time.
Exactly, because whether you're a Bryson fan, whether you're a John Rahm fan, whether you're a fan of Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, you'll keep interest because we care about most of these guys now. It's not just Tiger or bust.
That's why it's interesting for this tournament because you got a couple things at stake here. You got Rory trying to do the Grand Slam. You're trying to get Scheffler to do the famous 3 and 4. You got guys like Freddie Couples, who's keeping us afloat 1 under through the first round.
Bubba Watson, Jason Day.
You got, on another end, you get the live guys who are getting an opportunity now, pre-merger, to really, and the live has had a problem at the Masters for the most part, other than Rahm, to really take a step forward in dominating, putting a foothold into this tournament. That's why I think it's interesting. There's a lot of things at stake here. The live guys have something at stake. The Scheffler, McIlroy, and my boy Freddie Couples.
And Colin, you got to stop with Freddie. I think that the best chance for Liv, I think, is probably Bryson right now. You mentioned the whole big leaderboard if you're not in the top 10.
If you saw Rahm's tee shot, Rahm is putting right here on 9, but
he's 2 over.
This is for a birdie.
I'm not saying Rahm's dead. That's not what I'm trying to say here. But number one, I like Bryson a lot. I read a story on how he felt like he was being portrayed as the bad guy, and he didn't necessarily like that. But I think DeChambeau and his aerodynamics with the golf club are probably the best chance for Liv, no?
Yeah, I mean, he is kind of one of the top guys. Joaquin Neiman, I forgot where he finished today. I watched him throughout the day with Minwoo Lee. But
that's your guy. Minwoo Lee is Christian's guy.
Minwoo's great. I've watched him a bunch, just conveniently. He just lines up when I get to golf events, and when he's at the first tee, I end up being there. But yeah, I would say Bryson DeChambeau is probably your favorite from the live guys. But there's a perception about live golf players, and say what you want about the league as a whole, but perception with the players who kind of took retirement money because they're not fighting for their paycheck like you would on the tour. Mm-hmm. And they got these massive hundreds of $1 million contracts.
Almost fighting to prove themselves.
Exactly. They prove that they are still competitive and they still are the best in the world. Not that they got complacent because they got their contract.
Yeah. That's the story there. The live golf guys are trying to prove their worth again. They're trying to show that they could still hang because they're in live. That you don't see them with the PGA guys only a handful of times a year. And then you got 2 guys chasing immortality. That's enough of a story.
Is Justin Rose just going to burst all our bubbles this weekend?
Yeah, he's having a great round. I mean, he's 6 under through 13.
It'd be such a boring, and listen, I'm not, in my opinion, it'd be such a boring winner, but.
I mean, we're a little early. I mean, yeah.
I don't know. You got to watch a little more Justin Rose. That guy's got fire. He was on TGL's LA Golf Club, and he's a mainstay on the Ryder Cup. He finds himself on the wrong side of the fans. He will, for sure, in New York at Bethpage for the Ryder Cup this year because of Europe winning the last Ryder Cup. Justin Rose would not be a boring winner.
God, Christian, what was the last Ryder Cup? Italy? That was a nightmare, right?
Oh, yeah, U.S. got their butt handed to them.
It was a nightmare.
But that is the couple little storylines to follow as Masters opening round officially underway. You got Justin Rose. Actually, I'll leave it to Christian to tell you what's going on in terms of the scoreboard update with the big tournament in Augusta.
Wow. Thank you so much for teeing me up for that, Colin.
That's professionalism.
Yeah, the leaderboard update is brought to you by Pain Care Florida. At Pain Care Florida, their specialists use state-of-the-art procedures to relieve pain and get you moving. Pain Care Florida. Stop hurting and start living today. The leading board update was also brought to you by the Breakers Palm Beach, Kaiser University, and PGA Golf Club. So you talked about what we were alluding to before. Justin Rose, head and shoulders above the field. He's through 13. He's 4 under on the tournament. Corey Connors, Scotty Scheffler, they are both done for the day in the clubhouse, tied 2 shots off the lead in second place at 4 under. From Live Golf, Terrell Hatton, he's on Legion 13's team with John Rahm, is at 3 under. He's done for the day, tied at 4th with Rory McIlroy, who is also at 3 under through 10 holes. And that was your leaderboard update here on ESPN 106.3.
888-760-3776 is a more impressive of a feat for Rory McIlroy to quote Jim Nantz, to return to glory on the biggest stage at the Masters and finally get that green jacket? Or is it more impressive for Scheffler to accomplish almost the impossible, getting 3 in 4 years? Let us know. 888-760-3776. Masters opening round coverage. Got to do a little NBA. Suns owner Matt Ishiba had a lot to say about the quality of their roster despite being eliminated from Western Conference contention, which is quite hard to not make the top 10 in your conference. We'll do a little bit of that later. We got Steve Politziner coming up. Stick around for it. It's Russo Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Improve your golf game fast at the all-new Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center has the facilities, tools, and coaching you need. Enjoy the best facilities in the area with an expansive chipping and putting area, practice bunkers, a huge putting green, plus a 2,000 square foot indoor training area with 3 hitting bays, cutting-edge analysis technology, and more. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center in the heart of Palm Beach County off I-95 and the Turnpike. Find out more at KaiserGolfCenter.com.
At Progressive, we understand the bond you have with your boat. It's why people name theirs.
I was pretty hungry and looking at a menu when I named my boat Change Your Tuna. The backup names were Trick or Trout, I Salmonly Swear, and, oh, it gets worse, New Squid on the Block. It wasn't my best day.
Whatever you call your boat, protect it. And start with a quote from Progressive, America's #1 boat insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. #1 rating based on boat market share data from ratefilings.com.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/score. Ethos.com/score.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
At St. Lucie Battery and Tire, batteries came before tires. We've been selling and servicing all types of batteries for over 50 years. So when you need a battery for nearly anything, we have it, as well as the fast, professional installation you need. We carry premium batteries for all your needs: automotive, commercial, marine, RV, and specialty. We also offer delivery and on-site installation, serving our customers quality products for over 50 years in the home of honest, reliable service. Go to slbt.com and book your next appointment.
The Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group, an affiliate of the Palm Beach Health Network, is committed to delivering high-quality care to the communities they serve. Their award-winning physicians and specialists provide a level of expertise that has resulted in regional firsts and outstanding patient outcomes. For a physician referral, call 866-654-2362. To learn more about the Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group, visit pbhnphysiciangroup.com, pbhnphysiciangroup.com, to get in touch with the Palm Beach Health Network Physician Group.
Group.
Panthers fans, the season is winding down. The Cats are making their final push into the playoffs. Join the ESPN West Palm Street team and Coors Light at Mulligan's in Jensen Beach on Thursday, April 10th from 6 to 8 p.m. to watch the Panthers take on the Red Wings. Come cheer on the Cats, enjoy ice-cold Coors Lights, and you'll have a chance to win Florida Panthers tickets. See you Thursday at Mulligan's in Jensen Beach. Must be 21 or older to participate, and Molson Coors reminds you to please drink responsibly.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Russo and Rizzo rolling on here on a Thursday edition. April the 10th, 2025 with Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Christian Cat. You've been in a car accident, truck accident, suffered a slip and fall, had an accident of any kind. My friends, Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine over at Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys, they're the type to fight for you. They don't charge you unless you win. They work tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation that you deserve. Let's call it like we see it. They're the best in the business for a reason. Don't settle for just any attorney. Demand Anajar and Levine today because that's the Anajar and Levine difference. All it takes, really, is one phone call to take back control of your life today. Don't wait. Call for that free consultation now. That's 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Take back control now with Anajar and Levine. Well, on the NBA playoff side of things, the Warriors had a terrible loss last night at the buzzer at the hands of Harrison Barnes and the Spurs. At the buzzer to lose 114-111. That put them in a tough spot into the play-in, but also the Suns were officially eliminated on an 8-game losing streak from playoff contention. They're currently at 35-45. They are behind the likes of Dallas, who traded the lifeblood of their franchise and got 10 games out of Anthony Davis, and Sacramento, who fired their coach in the middle of the season. Those are the two teams that the Phoenix is finished behind. And it was funny because after the availability, the new owner, Matt Ishiba, who has been a big name in the owner's circles as somebody who wants to kind of take that Mark Cuban route of pulse of the team, knows how to build it, that type of thing. Well, he spoke to the media, and he had some interesting things to say about the state of the Suns, where they're at, and what's to like about them. Take a listen to the guy who runs the show over with the Phoenix Suns.
Oh, it's extremely fixable. I mean, let's just be real. Although this isn't a cool narrative, and the national media really won't want to play it out there, but like, ask the other 29 GMs. 26 of them would trade their whole team for our whole team and our draft picks and everything as is. Like, the house is not on fire. We're in great position. It's not hard to fix. It's not like we're like, hey, we don't have enough talent to win a championship. We have enough talent to win a championship.
So that was the majority owner of the Phoenix Suns, Matt Ishiba, during availability yesterday, saying that 29 of the GMs in the National Basketball Association, 26 of them would trade their entire roster for what the Suns have today. Mike, do you agree with this sentiment?
No, I don't. Listen, Bradley Beal is a great player. Devin Booker is a great player. And Kevin Durant, a top 15, 20 guy all time. It just didn't work. Sometimes you put stars together and it doesn't work. Ask the Brooklyn Nets. Ask some of these super teams that have been constructed and just haven't worked out. Sometimes it doesn't work out, and it takes a lot to know that and to blow it up while you can and start the rebuild because, Colin, I believe 2 shows ago, I was all over the Phoenix Suns. I said they went supernova, meaning that, the sun went cold. It evaporated away. It really did. The fact that this poor owner is sitting here still thinking that the tandem of Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and Kevin Durant could still win something is crazy to me. And forgive me for thinking that Kevin Durant is probably going to force his way out. Or some of these, even Bradley Beal or Devin Booker. Now, I don't necessarily, I can't sit here and say I'm Scott Marks and understand every single contract on the Phoenix Suns, but Colin, the thing's over. I think the players realize it. I think the fans realize it. The only guy that doesn't is the one who's running the show.
And it's funny because, one thing I'll say is the Suns did win basically 50 games last year, so they had a good season under Vogel, but then they decided to move on from him. They bring in Mike Budenholzer, who is, again, a championship-winning head coach. Vogel was, too. Vogel won one with Frank Vogel, the former coach, won one with the Lakers. So the idea that he's sitting there thinking this is fixable, this is fixable, this is fixable, when you're about to probably get your third coach in 3 years. I have a hard time believing that they're going to run this back with Mike Budenholzer. What are you going to get rid of him and go get who? But that's probably what they're going to do. If you're talking about the longevity of the Suns, how long can this last? It's a short time period. If you're thinking about the actual assets that they have in the short term, they've gotten rid of all of them. And you got their best player, Durant, who is probably going to give you a trade request before the end of the year.
That's what I mean.
Here we are. And this is not a team that was hurt all year. They got 62 games out of Durant. They got 74 games out of Booker, and this was still a 2 to play. And they got 52 games, which is probably pretty good for par with Bradley Beal. 52 games, that is. Now, they have nothing else basically underneath that. But in terms of the big three, you got 50 games out of them. You're going to go 35 and 45 currently, and you're going to say this is fixable. This guy has some nerve to say that.
He does.
For an owner.
And Colin, you mentioned the big three. That's all they have, though. You look at championship rosters from years past, they got role players. They got guys who step up in big spots. Andre Iguodala for the Golden State Warriors, J.R. Smith for the Cavaliers all those years. You have to have some role players that are going to be able to step up in big-time moments. And I'm sorry, but Oso Ogudaro and Grayson Allen aren't going to cut it as role players. So Bradley Beal could get his 25. Devin Booker can get his 20. All right, that's cool. But what's going on with the other roster? What's going on with the other pieces?
This has been one of the biggest jokes of a team in the entire National Basketball Association. 35 and 45 on an 8-game losing streak. They got rid of Frank Vogel after they won 50 games and they lost in the first round. They got rid of Monty Williams 2 years removed after they won 65 games. And they decided to make the move for Kevin Durant, which everybody liked at the time. And they gave up a lot of assets in the process. Bradley Beal was a waste. But they made aggressive moves. But I think they're operating about 5 to 8 years past where we are. They are thinking in the term of the super team. That is not the NBA anymore. The NBA is not the 3 great players and we'll see you in the finals. That is not what the NBA... And Bradley Beal is a mold of what the great player he was a couple years ago with a bad team.
Agreed.
But this is not the 2013s where you just put together 3 good players and then something's going to figure itself out. That's not the case anymore. This is a little bit more strategic in terms of matchups, defensive prowess, the whole thing. The Suns haven't done that. It's like they're operating, but they haven't taken a look around the league in the last 4 or 5 years. That's where we're at.
If they run this back next year, Colin, all the teams above them, maybe excluding, I don't know what the Mavericks are going to be, sadly. I don't know what the Kings are going to be. But like Minnesota, Golden State, Memphis, the Clippers, the Nuggets, Lakers, Rockets, Thunder, I think all those teams with what they have right now, not mentioning what they're going to do to add and retool to their teams, I think they're going to be better. And I truly do think that the owner, how do I pronounce his name?
Matt Ishbia.
I think
Ishbia.
He needs to have the come to realization moment, Colin, where it's like, all right, it just didn't work out. Are you there with this team? I know you said they won 50 games last year, and Colin, maybe they do run this thing back next year and they win 50 games again. Do you believe this team can win a championship? I don't.
No,
I don't think this team can win
I could have told you this 2 years ago. The second, and that team was not that good. The Booker, Ayton, and Paul team that went and faced the Bucks in the championship
Chris
in
Paul,
2021.
they had an old Chris Paul on that team that played out of his mind in the Western Conference playoffs.
So this is a team that got blown out by Luka Doncic in Game 7 against Dallas. In Dallas's, I believe it was in the Suns building, lost by 40 after blowing a 3-2 lead in that one. But I'm sitting here thinking that they're not operating along the wavelength of where everybody else is. And it's almost like a sense of delusion that if Matt Ishbia is saying, the owner of the Suns is saying that 26 of the 29 other GMs in the league would trade their rosters today, what tells you that assumption? What? Cleveland wouldn't. Boston wouldn't. The Knicks wouldn't. OKC definitely wouldn't. You think the Lakers would? No. You think Denver would? No.
Can I take a step further? I don't even think Detroit would with Cunningham and Duran and their young players and Ivy. So I think it's a mixture of delusion, Colin, and that delusion stems from maybe thinking Booker is better than he actually. And listen, I'm sick to my stomach to say because Devin Booker's a Kentucky kid. I love him, but Colin, he can't stay healthy. He's got an injury problem. Bradley Beal has an injury problem. I don't think outside of Durant, I don't think the other 2 quote-unquote stars are as good as advertised.
Now, the one thing with the Suns is they've played 8 straight playoff teams. They've had a hard schedule. But this has been one of the most pathetic teams They started like 10-1 on the season, too. It was a team that completely ran out of gas. They're 35-45, officially eliminated. If we're going to chalk up the big X, the big failure of the NBA season, I think the Suns would be near the top of the list, to be quite frankly with you.
Yeah.
That's where that is what I see there. They have Devin Booker, Durant, and Beal playing 50-plus games, 60 near, and we're going to win 35 games, and you're going to sit there to the media and say that, hey, I love where we're at?
Right.
And if you can't figure, isn't that more of a testament to how badly it's going? If you have such a great roster and you can't even make the Western Conference play-in, and the two teams ahead of you, Sacramento and Dallas sold the spark of their team February 2nd, and Sacramento fired their coach. Mm-hmm. I'm over that team. I'm over that experiment. And I didn't really believe in it to begin with because that's not what the NBA is nowadays. It is not, let's get our three great players. The Suns tried, the Nets tried it. That didn't work. The Clippers have tried it about 3-4 different times. We're waiting to see. Clippers have played well now, but still.
I'm going to take it a step further, too. Sacramento fired their head coach, and you're still unable to win 40 games to get into the playoffs. And everyone always tells me how much better, and listen, it has been this year for the most part, and in years past, how much better the Western Conference is than the Eastern Conference. Colin, the Suns wouldn't even be in, as of right now, I know, like we said, we have 2 games to play. The Miami Heat have a better record than the Phoenix Suns.
Well, they play an easier conference.
But you get what I'm saying, though. Like, even with the same record, they're not even in the playoffs on the Eastern side. And you mentioned disappointing seasons in the NBA. They are top 3. I think it goes Dallas because of the mess that happened with Luka Doncic. The 76ers because they gave Paul George all that money and Joel Embiid played, 5 games? And then I would probably go Phoenix there. I'm with you. Phoenix is a top 3 disappointing team in the league, and I don't even think it's debatable at this point.
And that is the one that is most suited for a complete implosion. That is the team that is most suited. If he's talking about it's fixable, yeah, it's fixable. You're going to ship off half the team and say goodbye to the coach. 2 straight championship-winning coaches goodbye in 2 years. How about that? What is that a testament to? His great ownership? No, it's not. Speaking of Luka Doncic, the Mavericks had their home reunion with the Lakers last night, and Luka Doncic put together the most sulky 48 points I've ever seen. He scored 45 points. He had a great game, 8 and 6 for the Lakers. They closed it out pretty well and had a good fourth quarter. But they showed a video. He was in tears. Fire Nico, as in the Harrison, the GM of the Dallas Mavericks, was in full effect. We'll get into that, get into a little play-in topics as you stick around on Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, proudly representing the residents of South Florida since 1985, and proud supporter of Inter Miami FC on ESPN West Palm. Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath has attorneys across South Florida ready to fight for your rights. They've recovered billions for their clients, and you won't pay anything unless you win your case. If you have been injured, call the attorneys at Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, 561-867-4117, or online at foryourrights.com. Main office in West Palm Beach.
While it's not always possible to see contaminated water coming out of the faucet, the taste is difficult to ignore. And what about plastics and pharmaceuticals now in the water? The team at Culligan is here to help. Culligan offers water testing and reverse osmosis systems designed to filter out those contaminants right at the source. Culligan has been helping the local community with water issues since 1936. Schedule your appointment today at Culligan.com.
Hey, Culligan man!
ESPN 106.3 is your home for live sports presented by Hard Rock Bet. Home of the Miami Heat, now the new home of Inter Miami. Catch all the games and the biggest matchups throughout the week right here on ESPN 106.3. Hard Rock Bet, it's Florida's official sportsbook. Try Hard Rock Bet now and receive up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not win. Hard Rock Bet, roll with us. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling, call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121. Or visit tworld.com today.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news to stats to placing bets in a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Marlins fans, are you ready for 3 days of music, dancing, and fun for the whole familia? Your fan favorite, Rumba Venezolana Weekend is back on April 11th, starting with Fiesta Friday. Then Saturday, catch Chino y Nacho live on the field after the game in a can't-miss performance. Plus, upgrade your ticket to score an exclusive Marlins Venezuela Heritage jersey. Está fino. Get your tickets now at marlins.com/tickets.
She ain't gon' tie me down. Why you on the road? Got it on the shirts, all the hats, all the clothes. What you want right now? What up right now? I think you need to close your mouth, cause you ain't gon' tie me down.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Well, you get the Masters opening round ongoing right now with Justin Rose sitting there as the leader through 14, 6 under. Scheffler finished 4 under on the day. McIlroy through 11 is 3 under. So you got two big stars right in the thick of it in the opening round over in Augusta. You can still get involved and sprinkle a little action because we know you're watching this anyway. Work, school, wherever you are, you're still watching the Masters, and you can go get started and get involved over on the Hard Rock Bet app today. Go download it today. Google Play Store, Apple App Store. Go to hardrock.bet online to get started because Hard Rock's best. If you want to get started now, you get up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet does not hit. The first bet can be anything. It can be involved with the Masters, the whole thing. They got a ton of promos and giveaways and profit boosts associated with this weekend. You get the NBA, who is having a very close end to the season in terms of the Western Conference with the seeding matchups, so a lot of intriguing matchups there. And you get the baseball, which is now in the thick of it, about 12, 13 games into it. And you're starting to figure out identities of teams, who's streaking a bit, and who's finally getting hot. So if you're going to be watching this stuff, there's plenty to choose from, and you can go get started today on Hard Rock Bet. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida. The wager terms and conditions apply. Considered by gambling. Call 1-888. Admit it. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat with you on Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. Luka Doncic, who was the biggest shock of the season, being traded from Dallas for Anthony Davis in the early part of February, made his eventual return. He already played the Mavericks once at Crypto Arena in Los Angeles, but he went back to Dallas to play the Mavericks last night, and the Lakers ended up triumphant. They needed the game. They're in a good spot here to get a good seed in the Western Conference. They won it by about 15 points. Doncic had an outstanding game, about 30 points in the first half. He finished with 45, and it was 16 to 28 from the field. Excellent game, efficient game, the whole thing. Now, Luka's tough to watch, but you could tell he was almost, a solemn play style. It was like he was sad. He was moping.
He didn't want to do it.
It was putting a dog down. That's what that felt like. Luka was unwillingly putting up 50 points on them. That was my feel. They gave him a tribute video. They showed him a bunch of pictures. They did a good job, and the fans were receptive of Luka's return, and they were chanting "Fire Nico," the whole thing. And I didn't think he would. Luka was very emotional throughout it, and you got guys tweeting. Trae Young, for example, saying he never would have left, and I think that gives you more of a sense of how much he really loved Dallas. We knew that, but I mean, it's more apparent 2 months removed from it,
right,
and still getting emotional about it.
He didn't want to leave, and that's the 2 cents. He didn't want to leave, and he probably wasn't going to leave. And I feel for, people like Mark Cuban. Now, at the same time, Mark maybe don't sell the team and stuff like this doesn't happen. I understand it. But I feel for all Maverick fans and Maverick Nation worldwide. I mean, Kyle, I told you my sister works for the team. It was a very somber night for a lot of parties involved. And certainly Luka, you saw right there. You saw right there last night him kind of being teary-eyed and, like you said, methodically just scoring 50. One of the more weird games I think we'll ever see in NBA history, if I'm being completely honest. Like
NBA history?
I think so, because if you think back to LeBron's return to Cleveland, it was bitter. Everyone hated him, boos, whatever. The reason I think we're going to remember this is because, like, give me a time where an opposing star like this was just completely
embraced.
Yes, I've never seen that before. I got to be honest, Colin. Despite like farewell tours, like I think Kevin Garnett did a farewell tour in Boston or whatever. Like outside of that, like a fresh trade that just happened that year, the star going back, I've never seen anything like that. Never seen anything.
Whether they
like
leave or come back. I think Brunson, I was curious to see how Brunson was received by Maverick fans coming back. Just to think off the top, I wonder how, I believe Durant was booed when he went back to Golden State, weirdly enough, when he was on the Nets. But I'd have to look back and check. But, there's a lot of guys. You're right. I mean, like, in terms of the embrace, it was a rare moment.
That's why I said we'll remember. We'll always remember it.
Now, from that perspective, that embrace, it's almost like salt on the wound because it's slowly but surely turning into scar tissue. They've had a decent year. They're going to be in the mix in the postseason. They're going to have a chance, at least, to get out of that play-in. But what they did, and not to circle back on an old note, but that was still today as pathetic of a move as it will embody the Dallas sports fan for the next 25 years. That move will embody that.
It's Bush League.
They will be that will be the poster of what Dallas sports is. And it's more of a story to the actual heart of the fan. The Cowboys are a bigger market and a bigger team. But in terms of like having your soul ripped out, that Maverick team, and you want to talk about the Dallas now competing, the Cowboys not competing in the playoffs, you could say that, fine. But a year removed from a finals and having their best player, one of the better players in the league, snatched out on a complete whim.
Not even snatched out, given away, I think, Kyle.
By a GM who will not live to see. I'd be shocked if he was around next year.
He's going to be around next year because you want to know what this reminds me of? Different situations, different sports. Deshaun Watson. Everyone blamed Andrew Berry for the Deshaun Watson trade. It's the ownership. The owner. It's not. That's why it's hysterical to me. They're chanting fire Nico. Yeah, he's the scapegoat.
He's the fall guy.
But he's not. He's not. It should fire your owners. Never going to happen. They just bought the team. I don't think they're going to just get rid of $1 billion venture. But be more angry with your ownership than the fall guy, Nico Williams. Have more, and I'm not saying Dallas sports fans stupid, Colin. Please don't take it like this. But have more know-how to know how these things go. I think anybody can see that. But you think Nico Harrison wanted to trade Luka?
Look to the Denver situation, the Nuggets, and how they handled Mike Malone and how they handled Calvin Booth 2 days ago, firing both of them. You think that was an owner? You think that was, just out of the blue? Ownership gets involved, and they're like, I don't like this. I don't like that. Very rarely does ownership really get shifted. I mean, you saw it with Charlotte. I mean, the whole thing there.
Yep.
But very rarely does that happen. But look to the ownership. They're the trickle-down effect to what happened with Luka and to what happened with the Denver Nuggets and how they blew up, probably what happened with Memphis. The owners have a lot more to say this year than I can remember in years past. NBA owners are fairly quiet. They're fairly quiet. They kind of let the players do what they're supposed to do. But this has been a year that has been, I guess, memorable in the sense of a lot of owners are getting involved in basketball moves when they're not basketball guys. Mm-hmm. And there's no basketball guy in America that would go to a GM and say, get rid of Luka Doncic. I don't care if he's 350 pounds. There is not a guy who knows basketball saying
that. My thing is, and like you said, not to open old wounds, like they didn't really talk to Doncic about any of this stuff. They really didn't talk to Luka about any of it. And he woke up the next morning and Luka Doncic found out he was traded. It's crazy. It's not right, and I think we're going to look back on this as one of the worst moves in sports. It breaks my heart because my sister's with the organization, but I really don't know how else to chalk it up, if I'm being completely honest, man.
You bury your own. You dug your own grave. Now you're going to get buried in it. That's what Dallas is sitting at. As to the other side of the Western Conference, you got 5 teams really vying for 3 spots outside of the play-in, and Golden State had an awful loss yesterday. You want to talk about a little bit of karma. I mean, wait until Dallas is vying for a home playoff series in a couple of years, and do a Doncic or something like that hits a game, or Dorian Finney-Smith would be more suited, hits a game winner to knock Dallas out of a home playoff series and into the play-in. That's what Harrison Barnes did last night for the San Antonio Spurs. In Golden State, a 3 at the buzzer to win 114-111. And Golden State, who needed the game, props to Christian for taking San Antonio on a back-to-back plus 17.5. Golden State now falls to 47-33. They're the 7th seed in the play-in alongside Minnesota, who has Memphis head-to-head tonight. Golden State, who doesn't have the head-to-head, the tiebreaker over Minnesota, they don't have it over the Clippers, and they don't have it over Denver. That team, barring the Clippers dropping a game to the Kings and then losing head-to-head to the Warriors on Sunday, Golden State's going to get a play-in. This is a team that has been outstanding since acquiring Jimmy Butler at the deadline.
They need things to go their way, but I agree with you. If things don't favorably...
Well, statistically, I mean, the Clippers need to lose to the Kings, and then they would need Memphis to beat Minnesota, and then the Clippers to lose too.
Does LA doesn't necessarily need the games?
The Lakers? No, the Lakers have clinched, a spot in the actual playoffs.
Okay. Yeah.
And the Nuggets, on the other hand, have the Grizzlies and have the Rockets. So if that would be the Grizzlies falling down and Minnesota moving up, you're going to have Golden State. If they win that first game and they move on, they're going to have Houston in that first round, which is a bad matchup for Houston. Or they're going to have Oklahoma City.
Yeah, the OKC.
That would be Minnesota, Houston, or Memphis, Houston. And then OKC and Golden State in that first round.
I think Golden State could win that first game with their pedigree players. I mean, Butler, Curry, Green, I think could be enough to. Who is it as of right now? Who would be?
There's a couple games to go.
So obviously, things say we can't speculate, but no matter who it might be, I would probably take Golden State in that.
And that's if they're not. That's if they're the 7, not the 8, and playing for the second spot.
Right, and they could run into the Timberwolves, and then listen, we have a conversation. So if they do,
and that would be a terrible spot if you're Golden State. They were a game away from having a home playoff series in that building. And now they're going to be playing a one game with Steph Curry, who's 37 years old, playing 50 minutes a game. And Jimmy Butler, who's 35 years old. And Draymond Green, who's 35 years old as well. That's going to be an uphill battle for a team that doesn't have the size to match up with what OKC offers. That would be a very tricky matchup. OKC would be sitting there at the 1. Houston is locked in at the 2. And then you got the Clippers and the Golden State playing on Sunday. That's a game that could have monumental playoff implications, which will be interesting.
So you like Memphis to finish strong and get that 6 over Golden State?
I think Minnesota would win tonight over Memphis because they play tonight head-to-head, and then Minnesota leapfrogs them because Minnesota has the head-to-head. So, and Memphis, I believe, doesn't have the head-to-head over Golden State. So that means Memphis would fall to the 8.
Can I get your over-under check on the Grizz?
They need one more game.
Okay.
And they
out of 2?
Out of 3. Out of 3. They got the T-Wolves, they got the Nuggets, and they got the Mavericks.
You're hoping the final
1
game.
and 2. 1 and 2. That's no problem with me. No problem. Dallas is going to be locked into that play-in game. Win the game. If they go 0 and 3.
That's why. Listen, I'm not putting. You said it. I didn't say it. If it happens, Christian, you are my witness. He is the one that said it. I did not.
That would be a disgrace. That would bother me quite a bit. But that would be an interesting playoff because you get Denver and the Clippers fighting for that middle spot. But, I mean, this could all change. Denver's got a tough schedule, and the Clippers have the Warriors head-to-head, while the Grizzlies have basically 2 playoff teams still left on the schedule. And Minnesota, because they blew that Buck game on a 34-3 run, they're in a lot of trouble as well. That's a huge game tonight against Memphis. But the Golden State is the odd man out because they haven't beaten any of these teams head-to-head. They might get OKC that first round.
How about it? We all say the regular season doesn't mean anything. I'm starting to walk back on that, man, because of this ridiculous play-in tournament. Because of this ridiculousness where 10 teams, I know it's 7 through 10, Colin, but 10 teams get a chance at the playoffs. Come on. Aren't we almost done? It's the contract up, Colin, on the play-in tournament. Tell me there's some kind of contract that's going to be up on the play-in tournament.
Well, it's a shame because Minnesota's got a 7.5 game lead on Sacramento.
It's a joke.
And both are in the play-in.
It's a joke.
But you got to win the games you play. Don't blow a game to Milwaukee and don't lose at home to San Antonio on a back-to-back if you're Golden State.
What that?
Don't lose that.
46. The 46 win team in the West is the 8th seed right now.
Mm-hmm. I think that happened in 2010 when everybody in the Western Conference was a 51 team.
Let's put it this way in perspective. It's your point that said, whereas Eastern Conference not on the level of the Western, the Bucks are 45 and 34. They're the 5th seed. Wow.
In an easier conference.
Wow.
Golden State in a little bit of trouble. Memphis and Minnesota head-to-head tonight will have a lot of playoff implications. The Clippers play the Golden State Warriors to finish it off. Steph Curry putting him and Jimmy Butler in a winner-go-home scenario to get a chance at either the 2 seed or the 1 seed. They better be begging for Houston at that point. Begging for Houston because they could beat Houston. They wouldn't be able to beat OKC, but they'd have a chance against Houston. Masters opening round still underway. Justin Rose now 7 under through 15. 7 under. Scotty Scheffler, 3 strokes behind at 4 under. He finished his round today, shot a 68. McIlroy is through 12. He is 3 under.
And we have a massive story to break on the other side about someone possibly disgracing Augusta National Golf Club.
Disgracing?
Yes.
I have a guess. It's John Rahm. We can do that on the flip side. It's ESPN 106.3.
As market dynamics change, the quality of service you receive from your accounting firm shouldn't. Anshin Accountants and Advisors take the time to get to know you and your unique circumstances to help resolve complex issues and develop innovative tax and accounting solutions tailored to meet your goals. If you're a high net worth individual or business owner eager for a strategy to maximize tax savings, let Anshin deliver where others can't. Visit anchin.com. Anshin Accountants and Advisors, recalculating what's possible.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
While it's not always possible to see contaminated water coming out of the faucet, the taste is difficult to ignore. And what about plastics and pharmaceuticals now in the water? The team at Culligan is here to help. Culligan offers water testing and reverse osmosis systems designed to filter out those contaminants right at the source. Culligan has been helping the local community with water issues since 1936. Schedule your appointment today at Culligan.com.
Hey, Culligan!
What would you do with an extra $700? You can earn up to $700 per year with Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Boost Checking pays 7.0 annual percentage yield on balances up to $10,000. That's up to $700 extra to do what you love. Boost Checking from Flagler Credit Union. Requirements apply to earn the highest dividend rates. Limit 1 checking account per membership. Dividend rates and annual percentage yield subject to change. Business accounts do not qualify. Insured by NCUA, proud partner of Florida Atlantic University Athletics.
Breaking news on ESPN 106.3 is brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
This just in. We begin this hour with breaking news.
When news breaks, ESPN 106.3 has it covered.
We've had developments. ESPN 106.3 can now report.
When your vehicle breaks, St. Lucie Battery and Tire fixes it. Stay tuned to ESPN 106.3 for more breaking news. Brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
Anna Jar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 106.3.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Kaiser University's flagship campus, the 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach, extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees within the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 24 national championships, including the 2024 Women's Swimming and Diving Championship and Men's Lacrosse title. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest.
Hi, it's Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike, and when it comes to the NBA, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I want it all. Tonight, the season winds down and Miami looks to defend home court as the 76ers come to town. Coverage starts at 7 p.m. here on ESPN 106.3.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that wants to learn more about careers with Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
The Club at Lost Lake, a championship Fazio design golf course in Hope Sound. Golf and social memberships are now available with no waiting list and immediate access. The course and club will see over $10 million in capital improvements and is one of the best private club values in the area. Experience the beauty and challenge of this renowned course for yourself. Enjoy year-round access to exclusive amenities and events. Elevate your game, elevate your experience. Discover the Club at Lost Lake. Visit clublostlake.com to schedule a visit today.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Here is your reminder. Listen to Unsportsmanlike weekdays at 6 a.m. on ESPN 106.3. Here is your reminder. Listen to Unsportsmanlike weekdays at 6 a.m. on ESPN 106.3.
Panthers fans, the season is winding down as the Cats prepare to defend as Stanley Cup champions. Join the ESPN West Palm Street team and Coors Light at Townie's Tavern in Palm City, Saturday, April 12th from 5 to 7 p.m. as they take on the Buffalo Sabres. Come cheer on the Cats, enjoy ice-cold Coors Lights, and you'll have a chance to win Florida Panthers tickets. See you Saturday at Townie's in Palm City, and let's get playoff ready. Must be 21 or older to participate, and Molson Coors reminds you to please drink responsibly.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Ball into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Second hour of here, Russo and Rizzo, a Thursday, April 10th edition, 2025, with Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Christian Cat. If you missed any of the program today, you want to listen back, listen in the future, go to Russo and Rizzo, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. You can catch those there. Also streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm. Second hour rolling on here. We got Steve Politziner, the Good Karma Brands president, the Palm Beach Sports Commission Hall of Famer, will join us in about 20 minutes. Masters opening round. Justin Rose having quite a day. Not a good tee shot there, but having quite a day. Christian Cat helping us out behind the glass at the City Play Studios. He was at the practice round on Tuesday in Augusta. But it's time for us to roll on, and let's have a little fun here. Let's do a little 5 at 5 presented by Flagler Credit Union.
5 topics.
High five.
5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's get out of here.
Endless takes.
You can't handle the truth.
All gas, no brakes.
And it's shaking big time.
It's time for the 5 at 5.
Hold on to your butts.
Presented by Flagler Credit Union, proud supporter of FAU athletics. Earn up to $700 per year with boost checking from Flagler Credit Union. Number 1.
Now, I wanted to give you a leaderboard update, but Mr. President, I have bigger news to bring from Augusta National Golf Club. Someone peed in the creek on 13. Not just someone, not a patron, not a volunteer even, but the amateur champion, Jose Ballester. While Justin Thomas was in the woods,
The guy who was in the group with Scheffler and Thomas?
peed
The
in-
Arizona State kid?
Yes. Had to use the bathroom. Did not know that there were bathrooms readily available for the golfers. And he peed in the river on 13.
Wow.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding.
You think he'd... My,
What do you-
my
where were the
brother in
people?
arms.
Where were the people?
They
could see him.
So he didn't care.
He didn't care, and this is what he had to say about it. Because
They already asked him. Okay, wow.
All right.
He was not remorseful, even.
Well, I completely forgot that we had those restrooms on the left of the tee box.
Oh, okay. 13th tee.
Yes, correct. And then I'm like, I really need to pee. Didn't really know where to go, and since JT had an issue around the green, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna sneak here in the river. Probably the people would not see me that much, and then they clap for me. Probably one of the clubs that I really got today, like really loud. So that was kind of funny.
Are you concerned that there might be any blowback from that at all? Or I mean, obviously they did see you, right?
Yeah, they saw me. I mean, it was not embarrassing at all for me. So if I had to do it again, I would do it again.
Oh my God!
I would do it again. No remorse. Peeing on Ray's Creek.
Is he disqualified?
I mean, I guess there's nowhere in the Masters rulebook.
There's nothing about the Masters rulebook about exposing yourself on the golf course.
They need to add a
There's
bullet
definitely
point.
something around. Maybe you got to go find a clause, a bylaw somewhere. That's exposing yourself, right? That's public indecency.
Well,
Right?
I think he covered himself. Like, you could see his...
Was he on the telly?
But it's a public event. What do you mean he covered
That's what I
himself?
mean.
He's in public.
You can't do it at a preschool.
Christian, did they catch him on the telly?
I don't think they saw that angle.
I don't think they'd cut to that shot either if that was available.
Of him taking a leak in the creek?
I don't know. I don't know the rules here, but if the Masters don't allow cell phones, they're going to allow the guy to take a leak in the creek?
Guy had to drop trow and take a pee.
And you know how it's called the second nine and not the back nine for the Masters?
Right.
It's very particular with that. And the reason why that is because they don't want anything to be referred to as back, as in backside, as in buttocks. So they're so buttoned up that they won't say back nine, but they've got the amateur champion who's got a lot to prove. Like, this is not a guy who can rest on his laurels. No, just taking a leak in the creek.
Thinking about the guys he's playing with, too, he was in a group with Scheffler and Justin Thomas.
And he's dropping trow. Fair play to him, man. The stones on that guy.
The crowd did cheer him on when he emerged from the woods.
Wow. He's an Arizona State guy, I know that, and he had a Sun Devils hat that had the Sun Devils
Well, he had an accent,
down.
too. I'm assuming he's a European player as well.
But he plays at Arizona State. He's the amateur.
Okay.
And the Sun Devils thing was upside down. It was classic Arizona State. I'm like, this guy goes to Arizona State. And peeing in the lake, that guy goes to Arizona
Him
State.
and Scatbo, part of the same tree, baby.
So that brings us to the leaderboard update.
Wow.
Leaderboard update is brought to you by Pain Care Florida. At Pain Care Florida, their specialists use state-of-the-art procedures to relieve pain and get you moving. Pain Care Florida. Stop hurting and start living today. This leaderboard update also brought to you by the Breakers Palm Beach, Kaiser University, and PGA Golf Club. We talked about Justin Rose storming out of the gates. He's kept it moving. When we started the show, he had a 2-stroke lead over the rest of the field. He now has a 4-stroke lead alone through 16. Justin Rose at 8 under par. There's a tie for second, two guys that are in the clubhouse, Scotty Scheffler and Corey Connors, tied for second at 4 under. Tied for fourth is Tyrrell Hatton and Rory McIlroy at 3 under. They're 5 shots off the league. And a gaggle of guys who are tied at 6 under. Now 6 shots off the lead. Pardon me. Tied for 6th at 2 under, 6 shots off the lead. That was your leaderboard update in Augusta. And that moves us to number 2.
Number 2.
Man, in the Rays Creek.
I wonder if I did that at work, I'd be fired.
Correct. You would be fired.
If you did that on the street, you'd be arrested. Where or give it a ticket at least. The Masters, phones, bad language. No words of the word back.
You can't.
You just went there, Christian. You saw this.
You're not allowed to run.
You can't run.
But
the decorum is supposed to be second to none. It's like upper class. It's Wimbledon. It's like the royal family.
But he's dropping trow right there at the river.
I don't understand this.
Wow.
What is he thinking?
This is going to have an actual ripple effect. Like, we're joking and maybe melodramatic, but no, because it's the Masters.
Yeah.
Like this is the one exception to all decorum.
You could do this, I mean,
Christian,
at a lot of other places before you do this at Augusta.
I think there's a world we live in where this cat will never be able to step foot on the grounds.
I'm being honest with you.
Seriously.
I mean, who? I mean, at the end of the day, like, just went to the bathroom. But I mean, I'm just thinking about where he is, the moment he's in. This is his first Masters. You're trying to prove yourself amongst two of the all-time greats.
Me as a patron who was there, if I had to make a decision, expose myself, use the bathroom somewhere in the woods on the course, or wet my pants, as someone who paid to be there, I would wet my pants.
Christian would rather take the public humility of having pee stains on his pants instead of dropping trow and going in.
Yeah.
What creek? What?
Rays Creek.
Rays Creek. I'll tell you, they baptize children in that creek,
yes.
And he is taking a pee in it. Obviously, they don't. That is a joke, but at the same time, wow.
That's Jose Luis Ballester?
Ballester.
Who admitted and gloated about it, said he'd do it again if he had the opportunity, to peeing in Rays Creek.
Yeah.
I think that he'll have a different tone tomorrow when asked about it.
Yeah,
people are going to be like, dude,
are we going to see him tomorrow?
Yeah, that's. I was about to say, Christian, forgive me for thinking this cat is not allowed to step on the grounds ever again. Public indecency. He showed his drop trow. I know I keep saying it, but my God, at Augusta.
I never heard that. Drop trow?
Really?
I never heard that one.
Yeah, drop pants.
Yeah. Kyle dropped his drawers.
Number 2.
It's like that woman in your friggin' hostel.
I missed that story yesterday.
Wow.
Don't worry about it.
Luka Doncic returned to Dallas last night, and he was teary-eyed. He was more remorseful for dropping, 40-something on his former team than Ballestos was for peeing in Rays Creek. Luka was sad.
Drop trial on,
Mark Cuban was buried in his face, his hands. He was sad. There was fire Nico chants referring to the Mavericks GM. A somber scene in Dallas last night for the return of Luka Doncic. Did Luka and fans get the closure they needed after last night's whooping?
Yeah, let's be done with it. You had your game. You're not going to play them in the postseason. All right.
Time to move on.
Time to move on.
You're
a Laker. Let's start to embody it. Lakers is a bigger market, more pressure, bigger team, than they have playoff implications now. You got 2 games to the postseason. All right, you got your tears out. Now it's time to focus up for a postseason run. That's what I'd be saying if I was a Laker fan.
Agreed. It's time to move on both sides, for Luka and the Dallas fan, and for everybody that works for the organization, quite frankly. Put this behind you. Listen, there's no way this season could be a W for the Mavs, no matter what, unless they win a championship, and let's be honest, they're not winning a championship. But put a strong foot forward in the play-in tournament and try to gear up for next year. I can't promise you that Nico Harrison's going to be there, but at the same time, I'm the one who just told you in the first hour it wasn't him who made that move, and it was the ownership. So we'll probably see him back next year until public pressure ultimately surpasses, but we'll have to wait and see what the Mavericks turn into.
Let's see what we got next.
Number 3.
More news coming out of the Mike Malone firing in Denver. News that shocked almost everybody. Joker came out, Nikola Jokic said the firing was, quote, a heavy day for everyone. And one source told Sam Amick of The Athletic that, quote, the stuff off the court was even worse than the stuff on the court. Everyone felt the weight of it. What a heavy day. Does the firing now make more sense now that we hear people involved?
I don't care what he was doing. I don't care how he was treating players. I don't care. He would have had to done something reprehensible to get him removed from that position at the timing that they did. If it was just because the players didn't like how he treated the Russell Westbrook, whether playing rookies or not, if that was really the reason, you don't get rid of him in Game 79. It's no excuse. I don't care if they hated him. Everybody locks in for the postseason. Everything locks down in the postseason. You kind of forget about all the other stuff and just focus on winning the next game. That's what the postseason is. You don't worry about the other stuff. Just get it done. You don't think there are polarizing personalities conflicting with a head coach and a player throughout the postseasons in the NBA history? You don't fire him in Game 79. That would be my takeaway.
Here's my question. What the hell was he doing off the court that was weighing heavy on everybody?
Well, now there's
that's my,
now everybody's leaning to the fact that they got a scoop, so people think that he's playing Russell Westbrook too much or wasn't playing rookies. The thing is, I don't know what to buy because everybody's just got a different story. I don't know how I view this, but all I know is you do not fire as the 4th seed with 2 games to go.
To answer our question, I agree with Colin. No, this still doesn't make sense. And I probably would push Sam Amick, who I read him on The Athletic. The hell was he doing? And I'm sure it'll ultimately end up coming out. But what could have possibly been weighing heavy on the team off the court? What was he doing off the court that was weighing heavy on the team?
So,
Go ahead.
So maybe they're referring to how it's more painful to not have Mike Malone there anymore versus adjusting to an interim head coach. That stuff's not as hard.
I mean, Jokic, we were alluding.
Jokic was pretty candid about it.
That's what I said.
Jokic was saying along the lines, he's like, listen, like they came to me. I knew this was happening. I just got to move on and accept it. It was a classic Jokic response. He's like, I'm moving on and accept it. Didn't sound like he was, heartbroken.
It didn't sound like, though, he's like, hey, get this guy out of here. But it could be just being playing nice for the media. I understand.
My take, you don't fire the guy in that point, and I don't care if everybody hated him. I don't care if it didn't sound like everybody loved him. You don't get rid of both if that's the case. People definitely didn't love him. But if everybody, unless he was the most hated man in that entire building by a long shot, you do not make that decision at that point with the stakes on the line, and you're essentially burying your season unless some crazy run is ahead of us. Let's move on here. What's next?
Number 4.
Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson is, quote, using haters and injury as motivation, and he believes he can get back to being a Pro Bowl franchise quarterback. Is Watson full of it, or can he actually be elite again?
Mike?
So, I mean, does this not seem direct shots at the owner? That's why I put it on here. Is this not a direct shot at the owner who said they swung and missed? It has to be. And Deshaun, why do you think you're going to get that opportunity with the Browns? Now, I know this story today is that the Browns aren't going to take Shedeur Sanders, and they're probably going to take Travis Hunter. But what happens if they do take a Shedeur Sanders? I'll take it one step further. Our very own Theo Dorsey, who I talked to about this, you can listen to him theoretically speaking. Him and our buddy Christian Cat, 2 to 4. What happens if they take a Jalen Milroe, like he thinks they're going to do, and pick number 34? There's no guarantees you're ever even going to play and get a chance to start in the NFL ever again. I don't know. This sounded to me, Colin, like he was just taking a direct shot at the owner who called him a swing and miss.
I mean, from that perspective, I understand it. I mean, if anybody is buying what Deshaun is selling, I mean, geez.
Right.
Again?
Right.
I think we're a little past taking him seriously as a credible source to his own abilities.
And Kyle, I apologize. To answer the question, no, he will never get back to Pro Bowl caliber play. And I don't think a team is ever even going to give him a chance to be a franchise quarterback. And maybe he comes in as a backup at some point in his career. But who is going to give... What team in the NFL is going to give that guy the reins and go, hey, you're our starting quarterback going into the year? It'll never happen.
I'd say there's more likely, a bigger likelihood that we will never see him again post-Browns contract.
But Kyle, do you agree with me that's a shot at the owner to call them a swing and miss?
What is he supposed to say?
Fair.
What is he supposed to say?
I'm
nothing.
Out.
I'm down. My Achilles is shot.
Kyle,
I'm never going to walk again.
How about this? Nothing. Like, why is he talking to the media in the first place anyway? Like, this is him pushing this stuff out. Dude, just count your money, and if you do want to come back in the NFL, do it the silent way. Everyone already thinks you're a creep and whatever. Just stay out of the limelight. Am I wrong on this?
I guess the way he's viewing it is they got the draft in 2 weeks. They got a decision to make at that very position. I'm here. I'm still here. I'm still working hard. I don't buy it. I don't buy anything he's selling. That guy could be... I could be starving. That guy could be sitting out there with food. I wouldn't buy. I wouldn't buy it off. And so I don't buy anything he's selling. So I don't trust him. But what is he supposed to say?
And according to Browns beat writer Tony Grossi for ESPN Cleveland, our sister station with Good Karma, he's probably not even going to play in 2025. So
yeah, with an Achilles injury. So when will we see you, Deshaun? By the time we see you, that contract's going to be long gone, my friend. What do we got lastly?
Number 5.
Choose your own adventure. I missed yesterday's show. Did you talk about Zach Campbell?
The guy who got banned now from all MLB?
Fake news.
That's fake news.
Yeah, fake news. Okay. AI-generated article. I almost got caught, too.
Oh, that was a Centel thing?
But no, Zach Campbell, who's notoriously known as like the foul ball guy. He's a 40-something-year-old dude who
makes a living about chasing down these balls.
Yep, makes a living out of chasing balls. He robbed another one at the Brewers game.
From a kid?
There was a kid right there.
Loser.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna be completely frank. Absolute loser. Go ahead.
Another example of Zach Campbell. I don't hate him as much as many people do. I think he just found his thing.
That. Christian, I'm sorry. Listen,
He's
you're
a
at
lunatic.
a ball game.
He's
All
a
right,
hyper-fixated lunatic who could be using his powers for bad.
I was going to
think
say.
we'll keep him in baseball.
You know what? Keep him in the building. If he's not hurting anybody, I'd rather him focus on that than
so he can
anything
rob
else.
more foul balls from a little kid at a game. Ban his.
At a certain
ban
point,
him.
Ban him. At a certain
Ban
point,
him.
I thought I read that today. I was confused. At a certain point, you got to reward the effort.
Like, here's my the only and I don't think I'd ever be in a situation like this because of what we do. Like, I'd be, if I had a hypothetical child, I'd be able to give them a foul, a ball of some sort. Okay, but the only way I could twist this is if I brought my kids to a baseball game and a foul ball came my way, I would give my kids the baseball, okay? I want to make that clear. Number two, if you are sitting at a baseball game and you get a foul ball and you're a grown-ass man and there is any kid remotely near you and you hang on to the ball, I can't take that seriously, man.
Zach Campbell, to give him the justice he deserves, unless it's a historic baseball, he does give it to people that are around him. He more so credits the home runs and he counts that as his stats. And he likes that achievement. That's his sport.
All right, so obviously a historic ball, a so-so home run, 500th home run,
Jose Ramirez throws you a ball from third base after an inning. You're giving it up to a kid?
Giving it right to a little kid who wanted it.
I was
giving it to Colin, no ifs, ands, or buts.
Very honorable.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
There was a 35-year-old. I went to a Marlins game maybe 5 years ago, and I never got a baseball at a game before, ever in my life. Batting practice, nothing. No toss-ups. And I believe it was Miguel Cabrera.
Oh, wow.
Threw a ball into the stands, and the guy behind me caught it. I felt like such a loser because he gave it to me. Because I was reaching forward, too.
How old were you? 22 years old?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd probably... Christian, you want to know what the right move would have been?
What'd you say to him?
Thanks, I kept it.
Oh, you kept it cordial?
Yeah.
You gotta say, keep that. I don't want it. Keep
No.
it.
The right move would have been to give it to a younger kid to make yourself feel a little better.
No. It'll feel a whole lot better for that little kid.
But
when they catch ball
pretty
themselves.
patronizing.
I do want to say, guys, with what our fathers do, Colin, I've never been strapped to want a foul ball or been foul ball guy and stuff like that. So when I get a foul ball at a baseball game, it's no brainer to give it to the kid. I understand if you've never
Christian is the kid in this situation.
Yeah.
That's patronizing, right?
Well, you are 22 years old. I hardly consider that a little kid at a game, but I understand the point. You're
I'm
still
not finding
young,
a fully grown adult.
Oh, he looked pretty disappointed he didn't get that foul ball toss-up.
It was finished growing about 5 years ago. I don't know.
If there's a 10-year-old at the end of the inning, guy throws the ball, you catch it, and you look at 10-year-old, ha! I'm probably going to have some choice words for you when you sit down back in your seat.
What about a 22-year-old?
Who holds it from a 10-year-old? Yeah,
Well,
I'll say something to
What about a
22-year-old.
35-year-old who holds it from a 22-year-old?
No, because are you really going to be able to split hairs between a 35-year-old and a 22-year-old? Realistically, they're going to look 5 years apart, and it's that idiot didn't get it.
Or sometimes the 35-year-old gives the ball to the 22-year-old saying, here, kid.
Justice for Zach Campbell. I think it's a bad rap. He's a goofy guy. Again, I think if he
you got to reward the efforts. I'd rather him do that than commit crimes.
Is there video? Is there video of him, Matty McClain, fouling a ball off to the left field side, and him just completely ignoring the little kid going for the ball and putting it in his pocket? Is there video footage of that, Christian?
Probably somewhere. The guy likes baseball, man.
Can't take that.
Just wants to be involved.
Reward the effort. We got to talk to Steve Pollitt, Sr., the Good Karma Brands president, the Palm Beach Sports Commission Hall of Famer, presented by Duffy's Sports Grill. On the flip side of things, stick around for it. Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
What's the Anajar and Levine difference? When you're injured in a car crash, we focus on your case so you can focus on the one thing that matters most, getting better. I'm Glenn Levine with Anajar and Levine. We'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call our legal team right now for a free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE. We'll help you take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
Alexa, set a reminder to listen to Unsportsmanlike weekdays at 6 a.m. on ESPN 106.3.
Okay, setting a reminder to listen to Unsportsmanlike weekdays at 6 a.m. on ESPN 1063.
Breaking news from Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach. No tariffs on all new Kias. Put your tax refund to work today. That's right. While others talk tariffs, Greenway Kia gives you unbeatable deals. Tariff-free. Turn your tax refund into your dream ride now. Like a 2024 Kia Telluride starting at just $38,998. That's thousands less than the competition. Plus 0% financing available on select models and tariff-free pre-owned vehicles ready to roll. Got a trade? Push it, pull it, drag it. Any make, any miles, any condition. We'll take it. Got a job making $350 a week? Our lenders want to approve you. Put your tax refund to good use. Drive away tariff-free today at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach. Call 800 New Kias or visit GreenwayKiaWestPalmBeach.com.
We want to see ya in a Greenway Kia.
Credit affects down payment and approval terms, plus tax, tag, and $9.99 admin fee. Negative equity refinanced. Offers don't combine.
The quality of our choices affects the quality of our lives. So, when it comes to how you move, do you choose to see a doctor or go to the #1 orthopedic specialist in the world, backed by a team who custom tailor your treatment? Do you choose to live with limitations or live life to the fullest by going to the place that's #1 at getting people back to what they love? Choose better, move better. Locations in West Palm Beach and Wellington. Learn more at hss.edu/Florida.
It's a tradition unlike any other. Golfers from around the world are in Augusta. Augusta Championship Week on ESPN 1063 is brought to you by the Breakers Palm Beach, Hard Rock Bet, Pain Care Florida, and Hurricane Grill and Wings.
Hey, Steph Prince here, General Manager of ESPN West Palm, to tell you about a team that has meant a lot to me and this community for a long time. Bob and the team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning have been helping me stay cool for years, whether at home or in the office. And living in South Florida with 3 kids, I don't know what I'd do without them. Family owned and operated, serving Royal Palm Beach and beyond since 1980. Let the knowledgeable and trained team at Bradley help you with your residential and commercial needs, installation, repair, seasonal maintenance, upgrades of all makes and styles and models of HVAC equipment, and so much more. Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning does things right the first time and makes the process smooth, stress-free, and most importantly, keeps you cool. Give them a call at 561-793-7497. That's 561-793-7497 or bradleyair.com. Any need, big or small, trust the amazing team at Bradley Heating and Air Conditioning.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063.
Patrick Cantlay just triple bogeyed 15 at the opening round of the Masters up in Augusta, Georgia. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 1063. Justin Rose, the leader in the clubhouse, through 17. He's 8 under. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat, welcoming in good friend of the program, the Good Karma Brands president. He's the Palm Beach Sports Commission Hall of Famer. It is Steve Politziner joining us now. Steve, hello. What's going on? How are you?
I'm great. Now we've gone to another level on camera now.
Yeah, it's streaming live on the video as well at ESPN West Palm on Facebook, Twitter/X, and YouTube. Steve joining us. Nice. How you doing?
Fantastic, guys. Great to be with you.
Now, let me get this straight. So I heard about this in the break, but we got to talk about this. So behind you, am I seeing all the press media credentials that you have hung up on a wall?
A piece that someone did for me of like my olden days, like this thing got done in like 03, but let's see, probably 07, 08. So this is just like a mishmash of credentials, a couple tickets, some lanyards.
Heat Magic in November, you decided to frame it?
I didn't decide to frame it. It was in a stack.
Oh.
And one of our designers said, "Hey, do you mind if I take this and like turn it into a piece?" So it's actually the VP of facilities at GKB years ago said, "Can I turn this into a piece for like an office?" That's what it is. And it's become a very popular talking piece. 2006 Miami Dolphins training camp.
Steve, you were at Marlins Mets in 2007? You were there?
Which one?
July
Marlins
in 07? I'm not reading these. I can't see them, but I'm just saying. I don't know what it is.
Steve, give me the best one. Steve, give me the best one on there. What do you think? What's the best one on there? Is there a finals game on there from the Heat?
Yeah, I think there's some old Heat finals. I mean, Marlins World Series stuff.
So, Steve, you hang on to this stuff. I'm so bad with that. Uncle Steve, I was telling Colin, I for 4 years straight, I had a season-long credential for all the teams in Cleveland. Partner, I couldn't even tell you where they're at. So,
I always kept them.
Nice.
I kept them in a stack, and then I started keeping them again. I think I could make another one of these. Good stuff.
You should just make 100 of them and just cover up your entire wall with media credentials.
I know. Well, you know how people like to put like jerseys up everywhere?
Right. Like game-worn jerseys in critical NBA in sporting moments or press credentials, dude.
Exactly.
Marlins Cardinals in July.
People want like autographs of their favorite players. I want like a spring training press credential. So.
Like a luncheon credential, huh? Yeah. All right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Like a luncheon at the Cognizant Classic ticket.
Yeah, there you go. Let's frame it. Good idea. Steve Politziner on the program now. Steve, the Masters opening round today. It's a great day because it's throughout the day. It's almost an unproductive day for most people in the working space because everybody's kind of got an eye on it. But initial takeaways, is this one of the great days for you? Is this one of the great weekends? Are you a master? I know you're a golf fan, but is this like that crown jewel like everybody else views it? Have you ever been?
I love all golf. Yes, the Masters is so special, but I do think that it's more special if you have gone, have been a couple of times, and because you get to, there's nothing like it. It's like carpet. It's like, how can grass look like that? And I don't only mean the greens and the fairways, everything. It is so pristine and as beautiful it looks on TV. It only looks that much better in person. Strongly recommend the experience. And then it's also very old school. You don't have a phone. I mean, you're really focusing on the players. You have like the old school printout of the tee times and you're taking, I think you appreciate more of what's around you just by virtue of you not having like the electronics in your hand. So just that in and of itself gives you that experience. Of course, the menu, the throwback items, the low prices, on it all. But I think if you are a fan, it would just be like if you're you want to go to somewhere historic, maybe you want to go to Lambeau or you want to go to Wrigley Field or Fenway Park, like that. That's one of those things. Obviously a very tough ticket. But everyone can play the lottery every year and hopefully get the chance.
Get a credential if they're in your shoes, huh?
Yeah.
Steve, is that your favorite golf tournament you've been to, or is there another major or even PGA tournament that you like more?
I happen to be like the PGA Championship one year on like the last day and of a great event. So I've only been to the Masters during the like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday,
which I almost think is better.
And more during the week. Yeah, I really love the Wednesday, Thursday. You had the practice round, all of the feels for the par 3, get your shopping done. Like that's the day to like take it all in. And then there's a juice, there's an energy. You said something interesting about the first round. Colin, you said something interesting about the people taking about like the day. I think remember the TV coverage was limited for the Masters for years and years and years and years.
Right.
Now that it's more shown, that it's on ESPN, that it's on ESPN Plus, that you can stream it, it has become almost like, not to the extent of the first 2 days of the NCAA tournament, but there is that talk much more now about it than there ever was. I mean, it's really the last sporting event where the concept was like, let's hide it from TV. Let's make it so you have to be here. Let's put very limited, visibility around it. But as that has changed and you can, stream it, watch it in a bunch of different ways now, everyone, I do think you probably have a little less work productivity today.
Well, yeah. And so what's your perspective on the fact that whether you've been to the early parts of the week, but I sort of lean, you've been to a Sunday final round day. I almost lean to the other side of that. If you're truly interested in the tournament, I think getting the ambiance is one thing, go a different day. But if you actually want to see what happens and to see big shots, you have to make a lot of sacrifices if you're going to be there live, whether you're going to follow a group or you're going to stick at a hole or you're going to kind of mix match your way through. You're not going to see every shot, which is why I like the Masters, because it's constant coverage and you see every shot when it gets into Saturday and Sunday. So I'd almost rather be on the early part of the week comparatively to the later, because I want to watch every shot. I'm more interested in the tournament than I am the ambiance at that point. Would you agree with that?
I'm totally with you. I agree. I think like then if you have gone earlier in the week and then you can get home or somewhere, you're even that much more into it because, I was just over there. Or I know what that shot looks like. I see what that angle that he has to achieve there. And then you're home, like you said, watching it from the comforts of your house or at a Duffy's or something like that, where you can, then see all of the TV coverage.
Steve, as far as sports royalty, where's Augusta up there compared to maybe a Wrigley? You mentioned Wrigley, you mentioned Fenway. Is Augusta number one and everything else after?
All time of everything?
It's tough. It's a tough question, but Steve, I don't think I can name a more prestigious place. And now I would probably go football, but I'm very alone on that. I think within the Americas, I think Augusta would probably be the most exclusive number one royalty kind of thing.
I just think it has to do because as far as men's golf, there's nowhere else that you can link all the way back, to like the origins of men's golf in the United States.
Right.
Like, there's nowhere else. Like, yes, Wrigley, Fenway, but not everyone played in all of those stadiums. And from yesterday to today, and we'll always have the chance to have made some great memory there. It's not like the World Series is at Fenway or at Wrigley every year. So I think you have to eliminate those. Same thing with the NFL. Lambeau, historic, but it's not like the Super Bowl's there every year. Mm-hmm. So I think you have to look at there. You have to look at Churchill Downs.
Yeah.
For
Kentucky
the Kentucky
Derby. It's a good
Derby.
one.
Yep. You have to look at those places that are the annual host of the biggest event in that sport in the world. So everybody has had to come through there.
Yeah. I would agree with the fact, even on the other ones too, if you go to Belmont and this is the track where Secretariat won by 17 lengths in 73, it's a famous, there's a history aspect to it. Another one I'd chime in, it's not in the United States, but Wimbledon would be one for me. That would scratch that itch because that's classy.
Yeah,
it's almost got the
What about the U.S. Open? What about Flushing Meadows, Colin?
Yeah, I've actually been to the U.S. Open. It's great. It's very cool. I would say Wimbledon is a step above that. It's a little bit more classy. I'd say the French Open is above that as well.
Yeah, I think that's where you're going. I think that's why you are also going Churchill Downs over Belmont. There's this classy, historical appeal that is still holding on to an era of
first one of the season
era.
too. First one of the season.
Now, I feel like a lot of English people might argue the Open, Steve, have it be one of those many courses they play at over there.
True. True. The only difference though is, Colin, Mike, it rotates.
Right.
So
that's why I said
different place.
Yep.
So some of the greatest memories have been, you have a rotation of courses where all those have happened. Every great has played at the Masters and every year. And what they do there, from a technology to a landscaping, just make it
It's
better.
Steve, it's a mixture.
I was there one year. There was a major rainstorm came through, mud, craziness. By the next day, you didn't even know. You had no idea. What they do there overnight is amazing.
I feel like it's a mixture of tradition and, modern-esque day, right? I've never been, Steve, but from what I hear, it's you get the traditionalist of it, but then you see the modern adjustments as well.
Absolutely. I mean, the course has evolved over years. It's not the same course that Gene Sarazen was playing. It's the same fundamental foundation, same dirt, but the course has changed and it's evolved. It's lengthened. It's obviously been made harder. And that's not to take away from how hard it was before.
Right.
But of course, as play has evolved, they've tried to add more length, add more speed on the greens, things like that.
Now, Steve, in terms of what the opening round really had in store for us, Justin Rose just finished his 18, finished his 7 under. He bogeyed 18. but only a couple guys sitting at 4 under at this point, Rory McIlroy and Scottie Scheffler being two of them. That is sort of what the golf fan wants, because those are probably the two biggest stories coming into the tournament. Can Rory finally get that green jacket? And can Scottie Scheffler win 3 in 4 years? Where are you at in terms of what would be a more impressive feat to you? Rory returning to glory, so to speak, to quote Jim Nantz, and to get that green jacket, finally win another major? Or is it Scottie Scheffler sort of reaching that immortality of the 3 in 4 years as only Jack Nicklaus has done? Give me your thoughts there.
Totally neck and neck. And to be when it's only Jack, not Tiger and Jack, not Arnold, like only Jack, that is rarefied air. But for some reason, I go back to that Rory hasn't won like Rory.
2014. Yep, 2014.
How rare it's been, 11, 12 years, right? Since a major, everything he has been through to now be back on the other side of it, playing great, coming in. It feels like Rory to me would be the bigger story. Part of that is Scheffler never wants to be the story. He's not a big talker. He's very understated. Rory has almost assumed the voice of golf from Tiger as Tiger's injuries and visibility have evolved over the years. Obviously, LIV, TGL. I mean, he is right in the middle of all of it. So that's probably the other part. He's put so much pressure on himself, not only to be a great player, but to really be the steward of the game of golf. That's why I think it would be more impressive for Rory.
Now, Steve Politzino, the Good Karma Brands president,
hard to say.
Joining us now on Russo Rizzo. Steve, I got to get your thoughts on this before we move on from the Masters. The amateur champion who was playing in the group with Scottie Scheffler and Justin Thomas. So that's a tricky group to play in if you're the amateur of the group. Jose Luis Ballester, he peed in Bays Creek today during he urinated.
Uncle Steve, he dropped
in
trout.
the creek during the Masters. And then they asked him about it after, and he said, hey, I had to go. I'd do it again, the whole thing. Basically had no sense of remorse for it. I'm not sure if you heard about this. But this kid did it.
Yeah.
We were kind of dumbfounded that the prospect of doing this. Give me your initial reaction and what the hell that was.
Dropping trout.
Yeah, I get it. You got to go.
What do you mean you get it? It's the
dropping-
Masters.
Steve, he's dropping.
You can't raise your voice.
Yeah.
You're leaving in handcuffs.
Steve, I'm sorry. You can't drop trout at Augusta, Steve. You can't do it.
There's no excuse. You cannot in any shape. I mean, you're an adult. You're an adult. Even if you're not, you're 14. You ask, you say, hey, is there a bathroom somewhere around here? Don't you know the gravity? What really bothered me was the doubling down and I'll do it again. I mean, that's just pure immaturity. Someone's got to get to him before he talks to a reporter. I'm ashamed for him. And how many people, what people would give? First of all, what that kid gave just to get to where he is
and
in terms of his golf play.
You almost disgraced yourself.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
I don't
no
know.
doubt.
Listen, I'm at the point here where if the Masters, generally, I mean, who cares? Guy had to go to the bathroom on a golf course. Okay.
If they ask him to leave, if they ask him to not come back tomorrow, you good with it?
I would. If the Masters are going to play by those rules, you can't make exceptions. You can't do that. The guy was 4 over.
You've had a lot of those. People haven't been asked back. I don't know how many people have been asked to leave while they're still eligible.
I'd have to check. I'm not sure, but I mean, geez, if we're talking about decorum, the Masters is second to none in terms of the standards that they set. You can't shoot 4 over with two greats, two of the biggest names in golf, wear an upside-down Arizona State Sun Devils hat, and then pee in a creek during the middle of your run. You can't do it.
Dropping trout, as the kids say.
No. You almost think it was like he said, hey, I'm going to do this when I'm there. Almost like it was premeditated.
Like it was a bet?
Almost like one of those
Won
things,
a lot of money.
I'm going to go to the Masters and that's going to be my memory. But what a shame. So many people would have given anything to get that chance to play there. And a shame because he earned it. Right. And he's squandering it.
Now, Steve, I want to get your thoughts on something before we let you go here. But I'm going to Peru this summer. I like doing a solo trip a year. So I'm doing a solo trip. I want to get your thoughts on this because Mike is horrified with the prospect of this.
Horrified.
So I'm going to hike Machu Picchu. That's a 5-day journey. But the point being, to put a long story short, I have to go to a city called Cusco in Peru 10,000 feet, 11,000 feet above sea level a couple days early because I got to acclimate to the altitude. And it takes me a couple days, so I got a hostel, which some people swear by, some people definitely don't. And I love it. I think it's funny. And I thought it was amusing that I found a hostel, and this is where I'm staying, in Cusco, Peru, for the Friday through the Monday until my hike starts, and this is in July. And it's in a 20-person room, 20 people, for $7 a night. What's your thoughts there?
I'm okay with the hostel.
Oh.
I'm okay even with it. Like, I don't think I'd do it alone, but that's your thing. Go for it. I know a lot of people who like to do those sort of disconnects.
The 20 people, is that where you draw? Is that where you draw the line?
Steve, unnecessary. I mean,
Steve, it is.
Are you
It
that
is.
desperate
Let's
for
put it this way,
friends?
Uncle Steve.
Are
Let's
you
put
that
it this way.
desperate for friends?
So for him to have his own room, it's $50 a night, and he decides to spend $7 to stay with 20 people. Hang on, I'm not done, Colin. I'm not done. And then the last time he stayed in a hostel was in Portugal.
It was one of them.
And a granny hung her panties on the aerator, and it stunk up the whole hostel.
That's a true story.
That is a true story. Correct, Steve.
Hold on,
Steve, hang on, Kyle.
That's just
almost
a horror
done.
story.
Kyle, almost done here. Uncle Steve, if I would have walked back into the hospital I was staying at, and I saw that and smelled that and got the waft of that, I would have booked the nearest flight back to the States.
Or at least a hotel.
Correct.
Hold
Hold
on.
on.
Least
Hold on. Correct.
Hey,
Correct.
let me reset.
I
can do the hostels. I'll go back. I'll give the next hostel a shot. Let me reset. This didn't work out.
Hostels.
So granny panties,
Hold on.
dirty granny panties on an
There's
aerator.
I've been to 100 hostels. It's only happened once. So that's number one. Number two, I just thought it was amusing because it's a 20-person room. It's $7 a night. You could get a 10-person room, which I've done before. I think the most I've done is 14. You could do a 10-person room, and it's $10.50 a night. So you're spending $9 extra for half the people. And I don't think I'm going to do it. I don't think I'm going to do it.
Is this about saving money? Is this you like the randomness?
What, to save $2?
Steve,
Steve,
it's not
it's
about
just
saving
him-
$9.
It's just him being. It's just him being Colin. That's what I put it
Yeah,
because
very goofy.
I just
Very
think
much so.
I just think it's amusing. I think that there's got to be a great story that comes out of that, right?
Do you sleep well in those situations?
I mean, I've never been in a hostel room with 20 people.
Steve,
so we'll find out.
Steve Riz here again. I'll tell you who doesn't are the people he shares a hostel with. Because when he wakes up to go on his airplane at 4 a.m, he's got Missy Elliott playing on his phone.
That's what happened in Morocco.
Oh.
So people have alarms going because everybody's on their own schedule. So there's always somebody waking up at 4 or 5 in the morning to catch a flight. And that happened to me in Morocco. I wasn't going on a flight, but I was actually going on a hot air balloon thing. And at 3:55 in the morning, I had an alarm set, and I was already made. And there was a Missy Elliott song that was the alarm clock. And it was like, music makes you lose control.
Here we go
Music
now.
makes you-
Here we go now.
Here we go now. And it played as loud as it could possibly be in a 14-person hostel in Marrakech, Morocco. And you get up and it's pitch black, and you could hear in the breathing that everybody is awake because nobody's like breathing deeply. And I'm pretty sure I was enemy number one for the rest of my stay.
Yeah, as you should be. But I guess that's I guess that's the risk you take. If you want to be you get what you pay for. You want $7, you're gonna have.
I got a $7
15 different alarms and wake up calls.
Steve,
And then a granny hanging her undergarments on the aerator.
Steve, before you leave, go ahead.
Why? What is this about you? Like, why do you do this? Why the travel alone? Why the hostel?
I think it builds
What
a lot
is
of
this for
character. I do think it builds a lot of character. I'm a big traveler. I'm not in the mood to recruit people. And I think it tests yourself a little bit. You test your social skills. You got to figure it out. You got to meet people. You got to find your way. I like it. I think it teaches people a lot when they do that. But
like
Steve,
kind of bounce your takes off granny panties.
Steve,
Yes,
that kind of
correct.
stuff?
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve.
Sometimes. All right, lastly,
Dirty
Steve,
aerators.
tell us what's going on with Duffy's.
Oh God. Duffy's once again voted the best sports grill in Palm Beach County. Weekday lunch deals, including the Duffy's Double Play at $7.99. The famous 2-for-1 drinks every day, and of course, by now, who has not signed up for Duffy's MVP card? Hey, maybe you just moved here, and this is the first time you're hearing about this. So make sure that what you do is you go out and you sign up for that Duffy's MVP card because there are legitimate rewards. Because what's going to happen is you're going to go often, and by going often, you're going to be able to earn that many more rewards. And don't forget, 80 TVs at every Duffy's location, so your game, whether it's any sport you want to watch or the Masters, is always on Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. At Duffy's, our game is always on.
Appreciate it, Steve. Talk next week, all right?
My man, Steve.
See ya.
That's Steve Politino, the Good Karma Brands president. We take a timeout, close out the program. It's Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Hi, this is Scott Smith of Smith Ball, Baez, and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. I have said it many times before, and I will continue to say it for many years to come. There is never a good time for a car accident to occur, and most certainly never ever a good time to suffer injuries in any type of an accident. The accident and its overall aftermath will usually cause pain, difficulty, and stress. Florida law allows accident victims to recover compensation for such losses, injuries, and damages. But such recovery is often not obtained easily and can require a lengthy fight with an insurance company. If you've been injured in an accident, call us now. Don't delay. The initial consultation is completely free of charge. The sooner you call us, the sooner we can put our experienced legal team to work for you. Don't hesitate or pause for another minute. Our experience, knowledge, and resources could be working for you just minutes after the call. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith Ball, Baez, and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith Ball, Baez, and Prather, help is just a phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Russo and Rizzo closing out the program here on a Thursday edition. Well, we had Hurricane Grill and Wings tomorrow live on a remote from 4 to 6 up in Palm Beach Gardens. So stay tuned. That'll be a lot of fun. But it's Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Christian Cat. Christian Cat was not here yesterday, made a remote pick when we went streaking with Hard Rock Bet, and he took it at San Antonio, plus 17.5, I believe, plus 17 against Golden State on the road on a back-to-back. Won that one. They actually won the outright. So a hell of a pick on Christian's time. But now it's time for us to make some picks with our friends over at Hard Rock Bet. Let's go streaking with Hard Rock Bet.
Time to put your money where your mouth is.
We can't lose. We can't lose. We can't lose.
Survive and Advance is the name of the game.
That's right! We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure!
Tail the hot hand.
Continue this improbable run! 22 consecutive wins!
And fade the cooler.
Everything you touch turns to mush. People go to the racetrack and the teller will give him his tickets already ripped out.
Let's go streaking.
We're going streaking!
Presented by Hard Rock Bet.
You want to talk about fading the cooler? Look no further than Mike Rizzo, who has now lost 5 picks in a row. All MLB. You're going MLB again, right?
We have one game tonight, so I'm betting one game. And folks, I gotta say, I know we're up against it, so I'll make this quick. I promise you, I actually know baseball. Like, I am 0 for 5 in baseball. Like,
He's pleading.
You guys
He's
have
pleading with the
I am
public.
pleading. You guys have no idea how embarrassed I am that I've went 5 straight picks without picking a right game. Boys, am I allowed minus 125 tonight?
Go for it. I'm going minus 120. I've got a live bet that I can't wait to get off my chest.
Okay, quickly. Braves minus 125. The Braves, by the way, 2-9. My God, they need this game. They got my guy Spencer Schwellenbach on the mound. Jesus Luzardo on the other side, though, for the Phillies is red hot as well. Yeah, he's red hot. So 2 really good pitchers. I'm going to go with Schwellenbach and the Braves. They are minus 125 at home tonight. For the record, I'm 0-5. So you bet against me, right? You bet against me. So if you're looking to make money,
bet with him.
If you're looking to make money, you take the Phillies tonight because I am cold as a fridge.
Christian?
We're looking at hole 17 matchup. Victor Hovland, Xander Schauffele, draw, minus 120. Don't pick either of them to win. They both par, you win. They both par, you win.
Where are they right now? Are they in 16?
Yeah.
Okay. So you need Hovland and Schauffele to to draw the hole, and then you win your bet.
Minus 120.
All right, interesting.
Nice.
I'll close this out here. I've been talking about it all week. I'm into this game, weirdly enough. 9:30 p.m. Eastern time tonight, the Minnesota Timberwolves take on the Memphis Grizzlies in Memphis. Talk about must-win games for both sides. The loser of this game is probably in the play-in tournament. I think Minnesota, who is currently in that 8 seed, will win this game. -2. Minnesota is my pick. As that was our Let's Go Streaking presented by Hard Rock Bet. As we close out, saying so long. We'll be back at it tomorrow from Hurricane Grill and Wings. Been Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, and Christian Cat on Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around